How you doing, guys? It's David here at Casino Quest. For the last couple months, I've been working with Jeremy at Color Up on a new series where I teach him all about dice from the perspective of the dealer. So we've been going over everything you need to know, like the shooter rules and playing the pass line, the don't pass, the order of operations, all those tricks and secrets of being a dealer and things that you could learn as a player to improve your game. So we look forward to joining you here on Casino Quest or at Casino Quest. And of course, don't forget, these videos will also be available on Color Up's channel. So make sure to subscribe there and here as well. So now we're gonna focus on with the shooter. So by the way, there's with the shooter and against the shooter. If you happen to bet on the don'ts, you're betting against yourself, essentially, right? You're betting that you're gonna crap out, and that's sort of getting, going against the shooter. Mm-hmm. So we've broken down sort of our course as with the shooter or against the shooter. We know a lot of players that typically will focus on one way or the other. Mm-hmm. And so as a dealer, it's important to sort of recognize, again, the context of a player. So how a player plays, so you can stay ahead of the, what odds they might want. You can sort of, you can take care of their action. You know what I mean? We want our dealers to be full service dealers. If someone has a come bet they're coming on, let's say they have a come bet that's $10, you want to know, want to say, hey, drop me your odds. They come down with the $10 you follow. Mm-hmm. If they're, single, double odds, getting to know sort of how your player bets, what they bet, the strategies that they bet, that kind of thing. And a lot of dice players, they're creatures of habit. You know what I mean? So we've changed that a little bit, by the way. So we, because you've introduced a lot of different strategies, we have as well. And so we notice players that are willing to sort of try new things. But back in the day, or even a lot of players today, they have their strategy, their go-to strategy.
Sure.
And they, once you, as a dealer, once you know that player's strategy,
it's just
it's automatic.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like I'll have a player who, the cocktail waitress distracts them for a second, and they're like, oh my God, they missed a roll. And I'll be like, no, don't worry about it. Here, you had $5 coming, just go ahead, put the come bet, I'll set you up, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because that's a thing.
That's what he does, right?
That's what he does, and you can play the action. All right. So let's talk about going, with the shooter. So the first thing, obviously, fundamentally is you need a pass line bet. So here, start with a pass line bet.
And now,
yeah, so that doesn't matter.
In front of me, right?
Yeah, in front of you. By the way, if the game is slow and it's like you and one other person type of thing, I'm not going to put too much emphasis on that. As the game gets busy, I really want you to focus.
Right? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because
gotcha.
this means something. And if you're over here, and by the way, if you're over here, it's really that player. Someone walks up now, puts their checks there, and they're like, hey, I already had a bet for me. How fantastic! You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a thing. I have shooters that if on a thing, they'll start here, but they want to shoot over there, and they'll rotate around. You know what I mean? Then they'll shoot, and then they'll try to come back to their money. It's fine if you're the only person at the table, but the minute other people come to the table, you can't, it's not realistic.
Okay,
you know what I mean? So right in front of you, yep. And when we want you to stack it up, we don't want you to leave two bets here. If you get paid, we want you to stack it up or pick it up as a dealer. And, and the dealer can help with that too. Like, again, I get to know you. You want $5 on the line, and I'd be like, here, I'll just push this off. If you're someone that stacks the line on 7-Eleven, I'll just stack it up for you. Hey, I stacked it up. And then as a dealer, we want to repeat that. We want to tell the player. By speaking to the player, it gives the player a chance to say, no, I don't want to do that.
This one time I didn't want to do it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. No. So let's say I keep stacking it up and you're like, crap. Now they blame you for having managed their money for them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And as a player, you don't want the dealer, managing your money realistically. Right. So there's sort of a fine line. So as long as the dealer
service and
managing, So as long as you're communicating to the player and letting, say, hey, I'm gonna stack it up, or here, let me hand this off to you, this kind of thing. Okay, so now once we come out, and then, you roll the dice, we'll go over the dice stuff. We'll do that one last. So we're gonna come out, because that's gonna be its own thing. It's amazing how many people we have that come in, and that's all they wanna know. They just want to know how to manage the dice.
Okay.
They want to know how to shoot, what to shoot.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing.
To me,
a whole
the first thing is I want to know how much my bet gets paid, so I'm getting the right amount. But
that's it. Yeah, it's, different people, different things. You know what I mean? I'm more worried about that too. I don't like to shoot the dice. I don't find that I'm very lucky with the dice, to be honest with you. But anyway, all right. So now let's just so we're going to go all positive bets right now. We're just going to go with the shooter.
All right.
So now the first thing is, obviously you have the options of betting the field.
Sure.
So as a dealer, again, we want you to bet it as close to you as possible.
Okay.
The reason why there's no, go ahead, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, what if I got the lucky 4? I want it down over there.
Yeah, so this isn't roulette. There's no asking the dealer for service on the thing. If you want the 4, you got to walk your ass over there and get the 4, okay?
Gotcha, okay.
Because there are people that like to bet the bubble.
Yeah, yeah.
I knew a lady that liked to do this. She liked to have 2 bets in the field, 1 in each bubble. I'd be like, listen, pick a bubble, honey, okay? Okay, that's terrible. But anyways, all right. So like, you know, we want you to stack it up. As a player, in each area of the table, you should have 1 stack, okay?
Otherwise, it's
2 people. How do we keep track of that?
I'm arguing with that lady. That one's mine, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I mean, now you have 2. But the other thing is this. Again, if you have multiple people at the table, we want you. So what I do is when someone tries to bet, like let's say I have a couple people here, okay? All right. And then this person comes over and they're like this, okay? I want to train them to. I'm going to take their money and I'm going to go like this. This is you, and that's you. Use this spot every time, and then I'll know, and there won't be any problems on the table. The reason why there's no big 6 and 8. So the big 6 and 8 is an even money bet on a table on 6 and 8, and I have seen thousands of dollars on the big 6 and 8. I kid you not.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Not here, where it pays odds,
right?
But on the corner where it's an even money bet. I've actually had a conversation with the guy, $500 big 6 and 8, because you know, casino loves that, by the way, because it pays even money. You know what I mean? It should pay much more here. You know what I mean? Sure. So let's say 600. Let's keep it easy so we don't blow everybody. So $600 pays 600 there, or 700. You're losing out on $100 a hit. So this guy's like, listen, I don't want you touching my money. I just don't want anybody touching, that's my money. I'll touch my money. I'm like, but dude, when I pay it, I'm touching your money. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you get away from that? But his thing was, listen, he just wants to manage his own money. But the reason why they got rid of the big 6 and 8 is because it's a self-service area, and fights would break out over the big 6 and 8. So what happens is it's a really small area. You pay the big 6, you know, or 8. It sits there. Now it looks like 2 different bets, and someone else says, hey, that's my money. You know what I mean? Now you got 2 people arguing, and I have literally seen fights break out on big 6 and 8 payouts. So the casino said, screw it, it's not worth it. Let's just manage all the bets up here. So with the field,
there's a little more room to spread out?
A little more room.
A little more.
But not so much.
This is still pretty tight.
Yes, I'm sure if you've been around enough crap games, you've seen people arguing over field bets all the time. You know what I mean? Oh, wait, that's mine. I think that's yours. Even people that are friends, they're like, listen, that's my money. You know what I mean? So like, if everybody bets in the same place, so as a dealer, gain protection, staying ahead. You don't want to fight to break out. You don't want friends to turn into enemies. You want to like, here, this is you, this kind of thing. But again, it's self-service. The dealer doesn't have to do that. That's not a requirement. You know what I mean? You know, but anyway.
You're just trying to head it off before there's an issue.
That's it. I'm trying to stay ahead.
It seems kind of nice if you're letting me know, hey, if you just set it right there every time, I'll take care of you better.
That's it.
Okay,
that's exactly right. And you know, people give you some pushback. Those of you giving pushback on it, we're trying to help. It's amazing. People are like, well, I don't want you to touch my money. That's the thing. It's amazing the number of people like.
I guess nowadays it might be worse because.
Yeah, really. Yeah, nowadays, please don't touch or breathe on my money. You know what I mean?
It's a little difficult in this.
Someone asked if you could blow on the dice anymore, and I'm like, no blowing on the dice. Sorry, there's none of that anymore. Okay. So the next thing is, so that's the field. So we want people to bet the field relative to their position on the table. You don't have to bet in the bubble. If you're just the only person on the table, or there's just you and another person, then fine. You know, there's a little more liberty allowed on the table, but for the most part, we want you to keep your money, you know, close to relative to your position. Okay. Yep. So the next thing is let's go to the come bets, and we're going to do place bets. So come bet again, right in front of you, 1 stack. So how about we're also going to do some place bets. So throw me $26 across. So we'll cover all the numbers.
I got 30 here.
That's 30. So. Yep, that's perfectly fine. Now you can say across. You can also give me an amount, or you can ask the dealer. I want. All players should ask the dealer, be willing to communicate, say, hey, what do I need across? $5 table, $26 across. $10 table, $52 across. $15 table, $78 across. Dealers should know, right? Now I'm automatically going to go, okay, you have $30, I give you the change. So as a dealer, you get the change out first.
So that's a big tip that I learned from you guys recently is the change goes out first before you, okay.
That's right, because now I'm done with this player. I'm not going to forget it. If I start setting up bets for everybody, I'm going to forget that I owe you $4. Okay. So I want to sort of finish cycle. By the way, it's a Scientology thing too. Anyway, sorry. So finish cycle with the players. So one thing at a time. So we teach our dealers one thing at a time. Now what I do is the small money, not what I do. What the dealer does is small money in the outside hand, the bulk of the money in the inside hand when you're dealing with 2 colors, okay? So I start, it's much faster. So you'd think that somehow, okay, do this 6, and it's much faster just to go down. Now I'm gonna find your position. As a dealer, we deal to the rack, okay? The one exception is, not the exception, so that's the outside hook is position 4. So if you put your money in that rack, that's 4. That rack is 5. That's where this goes. So if you have a player...
That's where you move from the front of the box to the back
to the back of the box, that's correct. So if you have a player moving checks between those 2 racks, like you'll see a person right in the corner, it just drives me insane. But anyways, 4 and then 5.
Now we know what to do.
There you go. Now you know how to drive David crazy. 4, 5, okay. Now you're about 6. Because this is a bigger table. Okay. There's still enough for maybe 2 people beside you. You know what I mean? Now, if you start squeezing over, if people start moving in, you might move over and I might have to switch you, all right? So right now, I'm just gonna put you at 6, okay? So again, I took your money, okay? I put $1, I gave you the change, I'm gonna put you at 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I work my way over, I have the other $1, and I have this nickel, which is proof. So I'm going to put it right there. That's proof that you gave me 30. I gave you 4 change. I had 1 nickel left over. Hands are clean. I used exactly what I needed to. Okay. So that's another thing as a dealer is clean hands. All right. So when you make change and you use checks or you bring checks in, you make the conversion, and then you have clean hands. So there's no checks missing. Go ahead.
So you need to pick up more than what's across because you actually have to put that last 30 amount over.
Well, so that was just because I proofed it based on the checks that you gave me.
Right.
Let's say, for example, you just gave me $26. I would then take the green one, move it inside. Okay, this is the dealer's working area. I would then put out the checks that I need to replace that 25 because obviously I need 5 red ones. So I pick 5 red ones right off my stack. Okay. I can pick, whatever I can pick. Right? Mm-hmm. So, and then I have the $1 and then I set them up and then I'm done. My hands will be clean because I used exactly the checks that I needed in this case. You follow? Mm-hmm. So if I was setting up another person, I would get to the end and not have anything. But my hands are clean, there's no checks. Clean hands is important for a dealer because players, when they see checks on the table, not all players, but some players will take advantage of that. So let's say, for example, I drop a check out here, check or 2 checks. They'll be like, oh, that was mine. That's my checks. Those are mine. Dealer, you owe me change. I gave you too much, or you know what I'm saying? So it's an easy way for players to take a shot. Okay. And there's quite a few people that take shots on crap games. Okay. Quite a few, okay? So here, that's why we proof and we come up with clean hands.
Is it just general area over there?
Yeah, so we got 2 areas over here where dealers use the proof. One is the box person. So if you have larger amounts that you need to either break down, check change, color, those types of things, or you have to proof a bet. Other than that, you just bring them in. This is sort of the little dealer. You'll see dealers as they're working out bets. So let's say you go, hey, I want 32 inside. They'll take your 30, they'll take this, put it right here. They'll give you 3 change and then go to town. You know what I mean? This type of thing. $32, inside. Okay.
And I notice you're always putting it out here first, and then.
Yes, I start to come. That's my cash register. Gotcha. That shows everybody what money I'm going to be using to set up the bets. You have dealers now. Remember, the same dealer that you saw that just sort of plucked a group of checks and put it out there without siding in. You're going to have dealers who go straight out and make shortcuts. They're lazy. A lot of dealers are one-handed dealers. They move this hand. Whatever this hand is, this hand does not move. I mean, literally, you'll see us. They'll be like, here.
Definitely something I need to work on. Because I'm not, obviously I'm
they'll do that.
Dominant. But.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So we teach our dealers because you want to work with both hands. Not to mention it helps your back. Doing this, by the way, is just not good for you, long term, because you're just out of sorts with yourself. But there's a lot of dealers who just lean on this for dear life, and they do what's called stamping payouts. They collect the payout like this, and they're like, okay, there's your payoff. Well, no one sees. No one knows what the hell you paid. Even the player doesn't know what you're paid. Right. There's no chance for the boxman to say, hey, that's wrong, whether it's too much or too little. By working in the come and coming straight off of your stacks, everybody sees what you're doing, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay.
Got you off track a little bit there.
No, that's fine. That's fine. This is good. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is now we're going to just do basic, procedures. So let's say first I'm going to ask you for odds. So you can take a green for every red. So you can go anything up to 4.
I can actually bet less, right?
Less. You can bet less, starting from table minimum. So there you go. So let's say a 6 is called. So the first thing I'm going to do is pay on the outside. If there's anything to pay, there's nothing to pay. Now I'm going to move, okay, on the 6. you came down, so this is a good strategy. This is a standard strategy. People will do place bets and use the play bets to help pay for their odds. So now I'm going to pay. But I got to pay this first. This is before you. This is position 5.
In the order.
In the order it goes, starting from the sick around. So you're position 6, 7, okay? So now, when I pay a place bet, there's a few things that can play out. One is same bet. Every time I pay a place bet, I'm going to say same bet. So that you'll hear the dealer say same bet. They don't even need for you to say anything. If you say nothing, they're going to hand you the same. They're going to hand you the payoff, and
so
that
that's
means
the default.
Default, leave the same bet. Okay. The next one is press. Press for a dealer always means double. That's it, double. So a lot of players, sort of confuse that a little bit because they're thinking a different type of press, or press a unit, or press this much. A press, when you say press to a dealer, it always means double.
Okay.
So if I have 12, I'm going to go to 24. And here we go. Ready? Secret number 1. Pressing on the 6 and 8, just hand off the cap and press. And it goes automatic press. All you gotta do is hand off the cap. If you know, it goes right to 24. Okay,
perfect, yeah.
So it just doubles it up. You always hand off the cap and from the bet, and then you move. So what we teach is a couple things. One, we don't want you to switch hands. So use your outside hand, okay? You grab the cap, inside hand, build the bet, right? Now, this is important distinction, by the way. Dealers, inside hand is the hand that's closest to the box person. Outside hand is the hand that's closest to the players.
So it's opposite over there.
It's opposite on the other base. Yeah. So you want to use your left hand on third base to pay, the right hand to construct as much as possible. Okay. So the next option is here. You have another option. You obviously would want to come down with odds because you risk less to win more or win the same amount. So what I would do is you say, hey, use my place bet, come down with odds. I would use the odds that I had available to me. And then of course, if
I wanted to add more,
wanted to add more, you could just throw it in. There you go. And you could say, listen, pump my odds, press my odds, whatever you want to say, go to 20, okay? Another sort of hint for a player perspective when interacting with the dealer is if you know the amount, say the amount. Because when you say something like, press or go up, it's, you know what I mean?
Kind of vague.
It can be vague. If you say,
make my bet 30.
Make your bet 30.
Make my odds 20.
20, that's exactly. So there's no confusion, everything is set. Okay, so now we go 20, and now I have the next bet, same bet, and then I can hand it off, that'll be position 7. Now let's do this. The other option you had on the 6 was if you want to go up a unit. So let's say a 6 hits again. Okay, let's start with this in the field. We'll do this one more time, and then we'll move to the other side of the table. But so field, so 6 rolls again. So it's take, always take. So I'm going to take the field. Okay, yeah. Now I'm going to pay on the outside anything I have on the outside, which I don't. Then it's moving bets. So the first thing that's get paid is come bets. Come bets get paid next before place bets. Always the come bets and in the order. If I had multiple come bets, I would pay these. Starting with stick to base, and then once I'm done with all my come bets, now I'm going to go to the place bets in their order. Okay? So let's say here. Now I have a come bet here. I have $24 on the odds because every nickel gets a white, and then $10 flat. Okay, so I have $34. Now there's a few ways you can cut this out. So I know the total, $34, pretty easy. However, if let's say I had a bet that was a little confusing, every red gets a white, and then this is always even money. What I could do is, here are the odds on the come bet, match it with whites, because every red gets a white, and now I'm going to pay the flat. You follow? I can actually do that and construct it, because this is my cash register. I'm ringing you up. You follow?
I do.
So we have dealers who have a difficult with math. You don't have to have math. You match a red with the white for the odds, right? If it was a green, let's say you had $50 odds. Every green gets a red. So here's a great example of this.
I do have a question before you move on to that specifically. So I obviously didn't have another come bet moving up.
Yep.
So you just paid out. I don't know if you were just trying to tell me, but do you have to move the bet down
that's
first?
Next.
And then?
Yep.
Okay,
so that'll be next.
Okay.
So I'll show you. So here we have $35. You see the $35? I have a green and 2 red, right? So I could have gone at the 5 times. I could have gone 50 odds. So this is fine, right? 35. So I know that pays 42 and 10 is 52 because I've been a dealer for a second, but if you're a new dealer, maybe not so much, okay?
Right.
So every green gets a red, every red gets a white. So I have a green with 2 red, okay? So well, here's what I can do. I get a green gets a red, and I got the 2 reds that get 2 whites. And now I have the even money on the bottom, okay?
Yeah.
I put all that together. I don't even know what this is. It's 52, but I don't care. It's right. It's a correct payoff. You follow?
Yeah.
All the camera cares and the boxman cares that it's correct. I didn't even need to work my brain and try to figure out $52. All
So
I did
is
was
there
match
a
color.
weird number that it doesn't work out, or does it just always work out?
Always
like
works
that?
out.
Really?
100%. Yeah,
Nice,
it's
okay.
too easy. It's too easy.
Yeah,
All right,
okay,
so
perfect.
I
That's
stack
awesome.
it up. Okay, now what I do is this. Now this is where you need to get a little expertise.
Okay.
My thumb and forefinger, I pull out the come bet, and then I heel off the payoff. It's important to heel the payoff off because this shows that I'm paying. This is the payoff, this is the come bet. So the come bet needs to look just like this. Now, let's say for example, that was that question that you had. You had a come bet here in the come, right? Now, in this case, we already know it's 52, so I'm just going to stick with that. I cut out $52, and then it's paid off and on, all right? Now, the reason it's paid off and on is if I did this the long way, paid $52, you see, look at this, see this picture here? Minus the money, see this picture? So if I paid it off and on like this, then brought your odds back and paid you, see the picture? Same picture.
Same thing, yeah.
So it's easier just to do off and on, and the dealer would say off and on. So now that I paid my come bets, I could hand that off to you. Now let's get back to this place bet. So this place bet, a few different.
Well, let me,
Go ahead.
one more thing, if you don't mind me
Yeah, no.
scooting in. So this is where I'm bad at dealing because I thought I would go like this, and now I would like 10 here, and
Yeah.
and my green gets a red.
See, green gets a
or
red,
whatever,
2 red. Yep.
right? And,
Yep.
But you're saying that it shouldn't be done that way. It should
Right.
be kept
Kept together.
like this,
Yep.
and then the payout.
And then the
is
payout with the
separate.
total.
So
Yes.
I need to be looking at the, okay.
Yes. So here I
I'm not
will,
like sizing in and stuff there. I'm
all right. So you know what though? This is it's interesting because if you had worked at the Frontier, a few different casinos back in the day, that would be a thing. So let's look at it that way. Okay. So when I pay this $52, right, and without bringing this on, it's a little hard to sort of read, right? So back in the
little
day,
bit, yeah.
the casinos would require you to separate the odds and the payout. So this is off and on, right? So what they would require you to do is you would take the payout off like this, okay? You would pay the flat bet. Yeah, I don't know how, this is a tough one to pay separately, but anyways, you pay the flat bet and then you pay, you know, the $42 like this separately. Then you'd bring the odds back on and then you could hand off all this. Another example is an easier example of this. You had to pay a color by color and split the odds. An easier example is, let's say someone had the 9, here, let's say someone had the 6 here, all right? Let's say they just had 5 with 10. I was doing this just to kind of do the
Right.
units thing, but all right, let's say they have 5 with 10 odds. Some casinos required you to pay it separately. So to do that, you would move this off, separate them, and then you pay 5, and then you pay 12, so that you could show the cameras and the person, this is paying the odds and this is paying the flat bet. You follow? So, but nowadays with the cameras,
That's kind of what I've been doing at home.
Yep, that's fine. This is an acceptable answer, by the
okay.
way. Yep, that's an acceptable answer. Yep, it's sort
But-
of the long way.
Okay.
Yep, and I think for your purposes, especially the way the cameras are set up, so people at home can see exactly what's getting paid. This may be a better way because clearly,
You're just putting out a
this.
stat.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can't see what this is necessarily. You follow?
Okay.
But on a live crap game, it's a total.
For speed and efficiency,
For
that's the way
speed
to
and
do
efficiency, exactly. But there are still, I think, some casinos that want you to break it down, separately. But anyways, all right. So now we'll go to the place bets. So place bets get paid next. And here we have $28 because they got 24. And again, if this person wanted to press, I could just hand off the cap with my outside hand and then build this bet with my inside hand. And now it's correct, $48. Another thing that a lot of people do with the $24 bet is they go up a unit. They go up a unit. They go take me to 30. So 24 goes to 30. So as a dealer, you don't have to cut out 28. You can cut out 30, take 2, put it in your working area, hand off the change of $22, and then stack up a $30 bet.
Okay.
See?
Yeah, my mind tilts a little bit. I understand it perfectly,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's
No.
not my first
go
process.
to, right?
Yeah.
Because this is the player's money you can take from their money. You know what I mean? You're just
Right.
converting it so they have less change. Now here's another one. $12.06. Maybe they want same bet. They have a lot of dollars up in the rail. Instead of paying them 14, you can pay 15 and then ask for $1. They throw $1 in, and then you have, same bet payoff of $1. One of the other things we do, for a press, let's say they wanted a power press. Let's say they want to go all the way up, they say. So they get $14, and let's say they drop $4.
That means adding additional money beyond the winnings.
Beyond the winnings, to go to the next level within $5. So if it's something between 5 and less, the power press is take me to that next unit. So 12 and 14 is 26. The next correct unit for 6 and 8 is 30. So plus 40, I hand all this in. I stack all this up with the bet. I cut out my $30 in the come, and I make it look like $30. And that's sort of basic operational flow of, and again, place bets on the line, come bets inside the box. Caps all facing forward, so $30. So here's place bet, this faces forward, not towards you, towards them. Okay?
And you just clean up your working money whenever you get a chance?
As I go, we always want to keep in between rolls, ideally. We don't want this to sit more than a roll, because we know we're going to be moving more money in there, and then we're going to confuse ourselves as to which ones we just proved or not proved. So in between rolls, we always want to keep as much of this clean as possible. And again, like our working stacks have to be one stack. You know what I mean? Each color going to the highest as we go closer to the box person, one stack. You know
so are we going to need a whole new video, a whole separate video on the color matching thing, or does that mean basically it? That's just the 7 to 6 payoff.
This is literally part of my
6 to 5.
So I have a dice. So we don't teach this automatically out of school. It's part of our Dice Master course, and it's a great way to, once you get to scale, once you get to bigger, lots of money or weird bets, this is what helps our students understand lay bets and understand the sort of the color and the units as opposed to the numbers. The numbers get really rough. As once you get up there in lots of units, this kind of thing, then it gets a little tough. But understanding the colors, so here, this will be a teaser for the next one we're going to do. We'll do this for you. We're ready? Here's a $96.
It's part of your Dice Master class.
No, it's fine. It's a teaser for Dice Master. Come down and get it in person. I mean, here's a $96 6.
Right.
Not everybody knows what that pays automatically.
Okay.
So what we teach you is you can cut out the bet. If you know what the cap is, this is the bet, $96. The cap is $16. See, this is the cap, $16. Okay? This is the payout. Do we know what the total is here? Maybe not. It's $112, but we didn't have to know that. We cut out the bet plus the cap is the payout. The bet plus the cap. Now, what else do we know about this bet? We know that any good place bet is also a good lay on the 6 and 8. Either it's a straight lay or a lay against some type of flat bet. What does a lay pay on the 6 and 8? Whatever's under the cap. We just saw that the cap was $16. The lay pays $80. So you just, as a dealer, you just pick up the cap, and this pays $80. Also, if I want a 5 and 9 that pays the same amount of money, what's under the cap is the 5 and 9, and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of those tips and tricks that we teach our dealers so that they can recognize bets and pay them quickly. All right, good?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. Moving on to the next lesson.
All right,
good. Good.